So I'm going to start recording. I'm double recording because I never know with me what will and what won't record. Um, but we're hoping for the best. And um, I'm so excited about today. The last time I publicly channeled the Librarians was December 1st, 2017. And they wanted to talk about what's next for humanity, and how each of us can help in our daily lives, even raise the vibration of the planet. And what happened was people were arguing with them, like people who were there, and there was a lot of like very high vibrational, wonderful people there were like getting in fights with them and saying, no, there's no way that can happen. Um, and finally, they're like, you know what? You're saying one person cannot impact the planet. We're going to bring someone through who can. And the next thing I knew, Jesus came into me and was talking about his energy and the way he impacted the planet. Um, and all of us were crying. Like, I don't, was there anyone, Tiffany, were you here that time?
I was late, but I was
You were here in December
was it
1st.
here or
No, it was over at Intuitive. You were there.
yes.
Yeah, so you remember. We were all crying and it was like we were all a red hot mess. But it was very powerful. Hi. It was a very, very powerful time. And then people started arguing with Jesus. They're like, how do you justify all the murder that's happened on our planet in your name? And Jesus is like, hey, I gave you guys a blessing. You're the ones who screwed it up. So, so for the last year, Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Judas and Father Joseph and Mother Mary have been working with me, showing me through the Akashic library, and them just taking me up into the library and talking with me. Like it's almost like I'm being schooled by them. What really happened? So now I'm in the middle of writing a book about how Jesus planned his life, what he intended to happen, and everything that went wrong. So because he really wants to bring his energy back in the here and now to help us raise our planet's vibration and heal a lot of the damage that's happening in the here and now. So it's very, very interesting. He's the first time that night when I channeled him, Mary Magdalene was standing behind me and she had her hands on my back to help ground me so he could come in. And when I went home that night and I was getting ready for bed, my back was really itchy, like I had a rash. And I looked in the mirror and I had red blisters and burn all down my spine and across my shoulder blades where her hands had been. And then the next morning I woke up, I'm like, I should photograph that. And it was completely healed except for the nail marks where I had scratched it, you know. So I'm like, I should have photographed it. And then the next time he came through, he wanted to share the story of how Judas was actually his best friend, not his betrayer. And Mary Magdalene was an extraordinary woman, not a whore. And he wanted to share this. And he fried my computer. I was recording like I am now with my laptop. So you see him coming in and he starts talking and then everything goes gray and I had to buy a new laptop. It was under warranty though, so that's all right. And Tiffany, you were there then too, right? That was at Sally Knuckles' place?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and actually he was so intense that he was like kind of blowing things up in the room a bit, and Mary Magdalene shoved him out of my body and she came in and told the story. Yeah, so very powerful. Exactly. Um, so for this last year, wow, almost a year. That's crazy. I've been working predominantly with that energy of trying to make sense of this information he's trying to share and why so many people are suddenly channeling Jesus all around the planet, either verbally, like I do, or just the energy of healing. And if the energy flows through you and you feel like it's divine energy, that is a form of channeling. So please, if that happens with you, value it. People who are singing and they feel divine music, um, there are those who are trying to create more all different frequencies and vibrations and styles of channeling all over the planet to help bring more healing. Um, and Snag will sort of walk around the room. He's a space clearer, so he kind of walks around and helps like keep the energy good. So we'll hear little tap tap tap. um, so, but he's a retired service dog. He's a very sweet, well-behaved fellow who is in strong connection with his eternal being. Um, so the librarians have been also part of this last year of trying to figure out. They were so upset actually the last time they came through, and people were arguing with them, saying it's too much to ask me to do. They're like, how can inviting love to flow through your being be too much to ask? So they've spent the last year working with me and working with, the Jesus gang and others on how we can better get the message through so that people can receive and embrace this challenge as opposed to being ready to, no, I don't want to do it. Um, and trying to see where it is that people feel hung up. So, what they will ask today as they're channeling through me is feel welcome to ask them questions. Do not ask them questions that are only focused on personal today, like, should I talk to my boss about getting a raise or, things like that, because they're going to be coming in on a certain frequency and they want everyone to come in on that frequency. But if you feel like what they're saying, you are like, wait, I don't understand, or that doesn't resonate, please ask them questions. They love questions. They do. I mean, they're librarians, they're researchers. They spend their entire existence of eternity researching and learning. And whenever they don't know something, they get excited and they dive in for more. And they have a whole bunch of guest hosts hanging around the perimeter ready to be brought in if they can't answer questions. So it should be fun. Um, okay, let me see what else they want. If everyone could please either turn your phone off or put it on silent or like block calls. Do not have it on vibrate. Whenever you're any place where there's energy work and the phone starts vibrating, it interrupts the energy, even worse than the phone ringing would.
Can you just clarify something? I'm sorry. You said no personal questions today, but then you said you weren't going to put personal stuff online.
Oh, well, yeah, like when you all are doing shares or like talking about, they're going to come in and channel, and then it's always like wonderful afterwards if we have a talk and people are sharing messages you got. At the very start, I will do a meditation where we will invite all of our guides to come and join us, and we will open all of ourselves up to receive. So when the Akashic Collective comes in through me, they won't just be here to speak through my mouth. They're also inviting your guardian angels, your guides, your Akashic connections to come in and connect with you each individually. And here, okay. There. Okay. All right. So they will each come through And the Akasha Collective may speak with you individually, or they may send energy to you. Some of you may find yourself wanting to cry or feeling emotions that are like calling out, hey, let me out, release me. This is your chance to get rid of me. Or the vibration will be very high. Your guides and guardians may come in to share lessons with you. They've been waiting for your vibration to hit a certain height so that they can come in and share something important. If that happens, honor it. If you find your mind drifting to like your shopping list or like chores at home, bring it back. But if your guides come through and they say, we have something to tell you, honor that and go with it, you know, because they're excited that you're finally here. They'll bring you back. Don't worry, they won't let you miss the whole thing. Or if you find you're missing too much and you're just spacing out, you know, you can bring yourself back and you can talk with your guide. Say, you know what, I need to be here. One good way to stay present is as we open up, always keep your root chakra energy flowing. We're going to have a lot of divine energy coming in. Invite it to flow through your body into earth. We'll do a short meditation at the start for that. So if you find yourself getting spacey, ask your feet, are you relaxed? Are you flowing? And your feet will go, oh no, we forgot. Okay. And then you go, oh, I was getting a buildup of divine energy and I was floating away. You relax your feet and it flows through. And then you can be a little more cognizant of the present moment. So I don't know how long the librarians will stay in or whom else they may or may not bring in. And I don't know whom each of you will have come and join you and come in. As they're talking, my eyes will be closed. So on occasion, they'll say, do you have any questions? Feel welcome to ask questions. Or they'll say, do you understand? You know, feel welcome to ask questions. If they are saying something and you really don't understand, feel welcome to say, excuse me, you know, and they'll either say one moment or they'll say yes. Because, you know, this is all fine. There's no way, like, don't wait till I open my eyes and point at you all, because that's not going to happen. But if you ask questions, that really helps that keep them in me longer, because then they know, you know, it's like keeping the energy flowing and grounded. Also, they're like, imagine like a think tank where you have these sweet old geniuses who have been hanging out together researching for a gazillion years, and they finally get to go out and speak in society. They're a little shy and they're a little kind of, they get a little intimidated if they feel like what they offer is not being acknowledged. So feel welcome to interact with them. They're so, they think they're really funny. They're kind of nerdy, so it's, please don't be offended by any jokes they make. They sometimes, if they think that people aren't laughing, they try a little too hard. I'm like, guys, you know, just be yourselves. It's okay. But they have a profound dislike for politics. So if they mention anything about politics, they will generally speak with a little bit of like, any jokes will fall flat. They'll try to like make jokes of it because they just dislike it so much they want to humor around it. They definitely do not believe there's any politician anytime in history who really only cared about the well-being of those they represent, and so they're very they really want to raise the planet's vibration because they're very distressed about the politics of the moment. Okay, they are saying if you have personal questions like, what you're saying sounds great, but how on earth do I incorporate that into my life? Where I don't feel like I can do that. That would be a personal thing to ask them. But they're saying, don't ask them, should I marry my boyfriend? Because they will answer. I mean, if you do ask, they will answer. If you feel compelled to ask, they'll answer. But they're like, let's like heal the planet. And if you feel like you need to marry your boyfriend to heal the planet, they're saying, then go ahead, marry your boyfriend. Like I said, they're a little goofy. Although, but make sure you have a good prenup. Okay. All right. So, as I said, they're going to come through. I do not do the sort of channeling where I completely leave my body. The Akashic Library or the Akashic Records are a collective that exists on multiple frequencies. Like we have our own Akashic Records. Planet Earth has its own Akashic Records, and ours is like one subgroup of the planet, and all the animals have their records, and the plants and the elements. The angelic realm has their own Akashic library. Different light beings and collectives have their own. It literally is the recorded information of everything, everyone, through all time, all existence, all frequencies, everything. It has been around for long before our universe, way before the Big Bang, and way before the Big Bang before that, and way before the one before that. And it's in realms that are so beyond our ability to imagine. It's just always been there. So when we go into the Akashic Records, most people go in to read about whom we were in our past lives. I mean, I do that. It's fun and it's interesting. They wish to remind us that there's so much more they have to offer. They have information on everything. And it's like, as they like to say, it's like going to the Library of Congress and only ever requesting to read the book you wrote, as opposed to all the other books there. You can only read books that are open for you to read and that you can vibrationally connect with. So if you have very dense energy and you want to read a loner book from the angelic realm, you need to raise your frequency to harmonize with at least the lowest level of angelic resonance. So then they can send one over, a loner book. Some people felt like the lives they lived were really awesome and they want to share it with everyone. So they may not have their entire book public access, but certain chapters within the book, little booklets are available. And you read it, you're like, oh, Joe the farmer had a great life. He really liked it, so he wants to share it with everyone. And it's a farmer's life. Okay. Or you can have people who came to Earth to have a very important impact, like Jesus that I've been working with and many others. Before they come to life, they do a calling of the souls. And whoever wishes comes forward and gives shards or splinters of their souls to this person to help them. And then when they're done with their life, these shards are returned to us. So if you hear people say, oh yes, I was Cleopatra in a past life. And they're like, how many people were Cleopatra? Actually, a lot. She had a lot of soul shards in her life. So many of us were part of her being. And we can go into our Akashic library, into our records and read the life of Cleopatra. But the only part that really shows is the part that related to why our soul was connected with hers. They wouldn't necessarily get the whole life. Although because so many people were with her, she did make her life public access. You can ask to read her book and go in and learn about her life complete. So there's a lot of information in the Akash. Each of us has librarians that we work with. And in the Akashic Collective, you have like different roles. You know, you have the librarians who give us our books and they take care of the library. You have beings who keep everything clean and organized. You have beings who connect the energy of all of the libraries. You have the guardians who like watch over it and make sure those who should not go in get in. You have these like, they're sort of like internet chat rooms, only they're from different dimensions. So when there's multi-dimensional activity going on, you can go into one of these rooms and connect with representatives from all the other dimensions and through their libraries, and you all sort of have meetings. If you've ever had dreams where you're like in a vast place and there's all these beings and they're all having a meeting and you see yourself in the middle of it talking with everyone, it's possible that you were in this part of the library. So, hi, come on in. We haven't started the channeling yet, so come on in. Yeah, that's perfect. So you're a little bit in the camera. I don't know if that's a problem for you or not. Okay. You're not anymore. So I just mentioned this because as the librarians come through, you may find things happening in you that are opening you up. And you can ask them about this, like, hey, why do I suddenly feel this? Or, you know, I'm getting a message from someone, I don't know who they are, and they'll possibly be able to answer some. How's the temperature? Okay. It might get warmer before it gets cooler as our energy goes up. Right. Okay, so all cell phones are either off or silent or block all answers, correct? Okay. All right. Not on vibrate. Oh. I'll tell you, the first time I channeled the librarians at a public event, it was at an outdoor festival. So there was a lot going on. And where the pavilion where I was doing the channeling, just behind me, there was someone doing gong healing. So the librarians are like coming through and they're talking and they're excited. It was their first time doing this through me, as opposed to just being my buddies who chatted with me and taught me stuff. And so they were a little nervous. And every time this guy would do a gong healing, they'd go, "Ooh, what's that?" It was so, and they would be like totally discombobulated. It was so funny. And it would take a little while. They're like, "Everyone, shall we all go over there?" You know, they were so. Okay, so let's take a moment and be comfortable. Throughout that session, if you need to use the restroom, feel welcome. You know, you're not, and shift if you're uncomfortable or if you're sitting in a chair you want to sit on, just like be comfortable and take care of whatever you need to take care of. Once I'm in this trance, like I said, I'm not 100% in trance, but my psyche leaves my being and I become one of the Akashic Collective. So the experience I have is sort of, I become one with them. And I'm actually always disappointed when I see the recording of me afterwards because I'm like, their voice sounds nothing like my voice, and I'm always like, oh, but I've found that every person in the room will have your own unique experience. So be open to it. So feel relaxed however you want to relax. Breathe in however you like to breathe. And relax your feet. Allow your feet to relax. Just give them permission to be relaxed, and whatever energy is in your legs can flow through to your feet, to the ground, absorbed by our divine Mother Earth, Gaia. And you'll find just by giving your feet permission to relax, automatically and naturally, energy just flows through and pools around your feet. And immediately the top of your head responds. You may feel pressure or pain, which is just your body's natural way of automatically protecting itself when something touches us. Give any pressure or pain permission to just relax. If you don't feel any pressure or pain, still give your top of your head permission to relax. And invite all the divine energy from whomever and wherever you connect with to flow into you and flow through your body and your being, down through your legs, through your feet, then keep going to our beautiful divine Mother Earth. And you'll find the more the energy flows into you, the wider your root chakra automatically and naturally expands to give you a beautiful, broad base of energetic support and encourage the divine flow. In response, your crown chakra and your third eye automatically and naturally expand and relax to allow divine energy to flow into your being and fill you and keep on flowing